I'm Mike.
And I'm Adam.
And this is Stuff and Waffle. Two friends talking about stuff, and often as not, waffling with frequent reference to Bond cars.
Right, I have a topic that was proposed to us from a listener.
Good. Okay, I like that.
Yeah, this is new territory. Yes.
Yeah, requests.
Yeah,
or suggestions.
Well, that's it. I mean, but this is where the fame begins. You see.
This is how it works. Yeah. Very good.
And it's one that I really quite like, and it was that we should each pick a 3-car garage. And the caveat being that one car should be a practical daily, second should be a weekend toy, and third should be a track car.
That's right up our collective pipe, isn't it?
Yes. Let's not dwell on that.
No.
Dirty. We've got no prep here. We've had the topic thrown at us, so
we're just launching into this. Yeah, there's been we don't, as we've had before, have prepared lists or anything like that. This is straight in. We're gonna thrash this out together. Yes.
And so I've got ideas, but I've got nothing solid. There's the old synopsis of fire in here.
Yeah. No, I don't. I don't have anything particular in mind for at least one of those categories. So let's see what we've got. So, should we start with the practical daily then?
Yes. Right. Let's get sort of grounding for this, because I have 3 small people that would
you careless fool, you.
Yeah. Reckless. So that means it would have to accommodate not only the good lady, but 3 small people and bits and bobs if we were going somewhere.
Yes.
So
it's got to be a fair size vehicle. You can't have a Mini, can you? It's got to be something with a fair old boot and a decent back seat. Yes.
Which means despite the dream, I'm not dailying a 911.
You're not.
No, so that is not my practical everyday car.
Not fit that category at all.
No.
Sadly.
So that,
because you could daily a 911, and people do
quite easily.
In fact, you almost have to, because it's when they're left sitting that it all goes a bit wrong.
Well, they love a bit of use.
They do. They go into this like deep sleep thing, don't they? If you're not,
particularly the modern ones, sort of 997 onwards.
They eat their batteries and then just sit there with everything broken, and often need towing back to the dealer to be brought back to life. So no, that would not be a good choice. So that's out the window, and would be out the window for me too, because although we only have one small person, I do, for my work, occasionally have to shift some sizable objects. Just for any kind of family work, the 911 as your daily is deeply compromised. So something like that just doesn't work. So it's got to. We're talking saloon, estate, or dare I say SUV.
We are, and it's not going to be an SUV. That's a hard no from me.
It's a hard no from me as well, unless you could find a Series 1 Range Rover that worked. Clearly, that's not going to happen. No,
and we did say practical, so that means when you go out to it in the morning, it has to work.
Quite. And a Series 1 Range Rover probably wouldn't.
Not every time, I don't think. So
not unless you spent an absolute fortune on it. And you can get 50 grand ones now, which have been breathed on, but no, I don't think that's you're not going to want to use something you poured that much money into daily, are you? So...
No, you're not going to go and stick that in Tesco's car park, are you?
No, you're not.
No. Okay.
So that's out. So no SUVs, because they're silly, and neither of us needs to go off-road proper. So a genuine off-roader as opposed to one of the toy SUVs, Land Rover Defender or something like that actually can go off-road.
Oh, I do
That's
not
not.
want a Dahlia Defender. My God.
No, you'll be up the osteopath, and there'll be all sorts of problems. Yes,
Not
you'll be
good.
a
So
broken man.
for me, I think it would be an estate. I don't know which one
Yes.
yet, but it's going to be an estate.
Yeah. Well, we both like an estate car.
We do.
We've both had some. Yeah, you can't go wrong, really. Either an estate or a very big hatchback.
Yeah.
One of
Yeah,
those.
yeah. Yeah, you can get
Yeah.
away with that.
Yeah.
But no, I think my mind's made up. It will be an estate.
Hmm.
I don't think saloon or hatchback's going to get it done for me.
Okay, no, that's fair enough. I mean, you can't go wrong really with an estate. I mean, one car which does spring to mind, obviously, is a car that I have had, the Tesla Model S.
Yep.
In that, to be honest, that has more room in the back than either of the estate cars that I've owned. And bear in mind that one of those estate cars was the Jaguar X Type, which actually has a larger load capacity than a BMW 3 Series, an Audi A4, or the Mercedes C-Class that it was pitched against when it was launched. So it's got the X-Type estate actually has a huge load capacity.
Yeah, yeah.
But the Model S was bigger again, partly because of the width and the fact that the seats fold completely flat. You can get tons in it. So a Model S would work. And of course, you've still got the performance aspect with that. You can still have some fun with it, even though
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
big practical car. But aside from that, if I couldn't for some reason have one of those, yes, I agree with you. I think it would be an estate car.
Okay, right. That's all right then. So,
Hmm.
where do we go from here? That's the question.
Well, where do we go from here? Are we still going to be looking at something that's going to be a bit of fun and something we quite like, or are we going completely practical and utilitarian? That's the.
I
But
I
we're car guys, so we can't just go out and buy, you
no,
know, a,
I'm
a
going to have to
snopper for
like it.
500 quid. Yeah, we're going to have to like it. We can't just go and buy, you know, some whatever. I can't even, a Kia Rio or something like that. Not that that's a big practical estate car, but you know what I mean.
No, I know what you
It's
mean, but
got to be something you like. So, which that limits the sort of brands we can look at then a little bit.
it does. I think for me, my sort of default response would be German.
Yes, that. Yeah, you certainly start there, don't you?
Yeah.
I'm not and have never been a particular fan of Audi.
No, and I think I would probably agree. I don't think it would be Audi that I would
No,
choose.
there's only one Audi estate that I think would do the job, the one with the Lambo engine.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
The RS6 with the V10. Yes.
yes. If it could be one of those, I could probably be convinced. But even then, even though the engine would be enticing, you've still got to live with the rest of the car.
No, I know what you mean. It's yeah,
They're
tricky.
just they're just a bit dull, aren't they? Really, I know they're very well built, but that's not what we're talking about. They just don't do it for me at all. Um,
Yeah, no,
Not at
that's
all.
fine. You can't.
Neither, to be honest, do Mercedes.
You see, no, I think there's possibly one that sort of may get there or thereabouts.
There's more to like about Mercedes, but I've never particularly taken to them. The Mercedes that I've driven over the years, I've never particularly liked. But which one do you have in mind?
I think the only one that would really sort of come close to hitting any of the parameters that we've defined,
Mm.
I think for me would be the CLS shooting brake.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
They're more sleek than your average sort of C or E class. That
Yeah,
rakish roof line, but
it's a
still
good looking car.
practical.
It's a
Yeah,
good looking car. I agree. Yeah, it is a good looking car.
that
Yeah,
could work, and it's not going to
yeah.
be. a horrific outlay, I'd say. I think it would be all right.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought they'd be too horrific at this stage. No.
No, I think you could almost say that's a sort of very, very reserved and sensible choice.
It is. It's just quite an unusual. You never see one. You never ever see one.
Thing.
Yeah, it is. That's a very interesting choice. Yes, I like that. Okay. You might. Yeah.
I think if we set the bar there and see if we can beat that, like you say, probably Audi is a no.
I think Audi we would both rule out.
And if we were being sensible and thinking, well, that CLS, for instance, would be not a cheap car, but not an expensive car. Whereas if you went for something like you said, those Audis with the Lambo engine aren't obscene either, price wise.
No, they're not.
But there is another Audi that you think, oh, now that would be good. We have to go in the back catalogue a little bit and get an RS2.
Oh, yeah, you are going back a bit there. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, just perfect, really. A nice estate car, breathed on by Porsche, but going to be ruinous to buy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, I mean, while I would love that to be the choice, if we're being sensible and not just buying the ultimate dream vehicles and being sensible in the way that this
up to a point. Yes.
Yeah, in the way that this was presented to us.
There's something very cool about a fast estate car. That just is. I may have something that could possibly better that, at least in our minds. It may.
Are we bettering the Mercedes or the Audi?
The Mercedes.
Okay, that's fine.
This might just tickle the funny bone a little bit more than that. And again, a very rare old beast, the Jaguar XF-RS Sport Brake.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. See, yeah, I knew you'd make that noise.
Yeah, we don't have many of those about, do we?
Very, very rare. There was one on Collecting Cars a few months ago.
Did you see what it went for?
Over 40 grand. They are very, very rare. It was in that bright blue color. I don't know what they call it.
Oh, I know the one. Lovely.
But that's the 5-liter supercharged V8, I believe. In that. And yeah. Now I've had an XFS Sport Brake. So I know they're a big practical car. You can get tons in the back. But yeah, the XF RS version.
Yeah, that's gonna take your face off. That
it is. Yeah, it is. Especially if you get it in that blue color.
But do you think in the realms of being reasonably sensible, do you think that's possibly over budget? I know that there isn't really a budget, but if
we haven't set a budget, sensible is a subjective thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, I suppose.
For us, for us, that would probably be going a bit far.
Yeah, I don't think I'd like to fuel that on a daily basis.
No.
I think that'd upset me.
Yeah, it's not going to be good, is it? No, it's not going to be good. But then, a car which has come up over and over again, if you're going the other way budget-wise, would be a Mondeo ST220 estate.
See, there you go. Thinking man's choice.
Yeah. You get one of those for a couple of grand.
Yeah. Now you see, that's exactly the thing we're after, really, isn't it?
I think it kind of is. It's a car we've mentioned several times on several of our lists. It keeps coming back because it ticks so many boxes. If you didn't have the money for the Jag or the Merc, which are both strong choices, I'd probably look at the Mondeo ahead of, say, a BMW.
You see, you say that, but one particular estate car that leaps to mind for me, while it is a bit older, I still think it would have reliability on its side and driving thrills. about an E34 5 Series Touring?
Yeah, that's a strong choice too.
Mm.
Yeah, that is a strong choice too. They're very tasty, aren't they?
They are. Is that it? Had all the correct styling tweaks at that point.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? Mm.
Because I tell you what, the 5 Series that followed it, the E39, I like that in saloon form. I'm less keen on that in estate form.
Yeah, it's not as well resolved, is it, design-wise?
No.
Yeah, the E34, it's gorgeous from every angle. It's got the
Yeah.
same thing going on as the E38 7 Series.
Timeless.
Yeah.
Classless.
Yes,
Lovely. Yeah.
absolutely. Get one of those on the right wheels and in the right color, because they did do it in some slightly wonky colors.
They did.
Yeah. And again, not going to break the bank more than the Mondeo, I would suggest.
Yeah, I think they've started to rise up. Yes, especially the M5 variant. Assuming you could find one.
Yeah, I was going to say that there's precious few of those around. They haven't done a genuine M in all the variants, have they? But finding one of those,
Yeah, because
it's very difficult.
Yeah, I'm not sure they followed it up when they did the E39. I'm not convinced they did a touring in that.
No, I don't think they did.
They did in the following one, and I can't remember the code number for that one. That did occur.
I don't know me numbers.
But that one came with that was the V10, and it had the flappy paddles, which everyone hated. The gearbox on it was apparently awful. I remember going on. It was a sort of a taster course for advanced driving, and the guy there was telling this story that he took out a guy that thought he was the bee's knees, shall we say? And he said we went out in his car and it was one of those, and he said I had to pull over and tell him no, you bought the wrong car.
Well, that's bad.
Yeah, that's it. He said I had to tell him he was an awful driver and he had the wrong car. So that was good.
Dear, that's going to be a bit of a knock to the ego, isn't it?
That is, yeah. That apparently that brought him down a peg or two.
Yeah, I imagine it would. Yeah, dear.
Tail between the legs.
You don't need that, do you?
No.
No, there's one currently for sale on eBay for 375 quid, described as a rolling shell.
Oh.
So that's it. There's none others. There's one on collecting cars, which is Chris Harris's former one, which sold a few weeks ago for £17,000. So that's it's not as high as I thought they might be, but it's strong money for what it is.
You might want to rethink that about not as much as you think. I found a proper M5.
Of course, because Harris's is a lookalike. It's not a genuine, is it?
That's right. And this one is available from Sussex. You can have it now on a classified listing here on Car and Classic for £49,000.
Hey! No, you see, because I could have a Model S for less than that.
Yeah, you see, I'm thinking that it probably wouldn't be an M5 if I'm going to go down this route. It'd be something probably 525, something like that. Maybe.
I was going to say you're going to get the 2-litre, aren't you? You're not going to be messing with the M, I don't think.
No, not 525 manual. Lovely. In that
still rare though, still tough to find, even the lower spec ones.
Oh yeah, going to be a right old bugger to find that. But if you can,
when you do, you'll have a cracking bit of kit. Yeah,
yeah, they did that. Perhaps something understated, like in black, or if you're going to go Larry, maybe that wonderful red they did. I can't remember the name of it, but really
the
nice.
deep kind of cherry red that they did. Yes, no, that is very nice. Yeah,
that'll do nicely.
That would work, wouldn't it? That would tick many boxes. Yeah,
it would. I mean, we got some strong contenders there. Do we need to add some to the list? I mean, I think on a personal note, I know which one I'd have.
There's one I think bears a little mention, which would be the Volvo V70R.
That would, I see where you're coming from there. That's
Yes.
yes, yeah. I've almost dismissed Volvo. I mean, I know I've got one now, but
You've got one now, but I think if we're talking practical daily, I think you almost have to mention them. But the V70R does give you that little bit more than
yeah, it
you
does
get
indeed.
from the ordinary one, because it's got the understated classless thing going for it again, doesn't it?
It does. It's not as. I mean, even mind you, I say it's not as in your face as some of the German estates. Mind you, even those are quite understated. But it's another step back, I'd say, in terms of making its presence felt.
It's fairly invisible.
Mm.
They don't make a lot of it being the R. I mean, they did do it in a couple of leery colours.
They did, yeah.
And you do get enormous wheels on it.
You get the enormous wheels. Little spoiler for those people who are interested, don't you?
Yeah, although that also appeared on the sport model.
It did,
not just the R. So
and
little bit lower.
The magic 3 buttons on the dashboard for the suspension.
Ah, yes. Yes, I remember Mr. Clarkson talking about those back in the day. Yes, indeed.
But I still don't think it'd be that for me. It's an honourable mention, but
that was kind of what I was. I didn't think we could talk about practical dailies without mentioning one of those. That would have been a glaring omission. I would say. I'm just trying to think if there were any other estate cars, particularly, that deserve a mention. But I think we've covered the bases there.
I think so. I mean, we'll get told if we miss one. You know that.
Oh, we will, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll be.
How could you not mention one of those?
Yeah, that'll happen. Don't you worry about that.
It will. It'll be pointed out to us.
I reckon if I were going out to make the purchase, the sat nav would be set for going to find the Merc CLS shooting brake, and then I'd have a change of heart at the last minute, and it'd be an A34.
You'd be thinking about it as you pulled up outside the Mercedes dealer, and then you'd veer off around the corner and buy the BMW.
Oh well, I'm not made of money. I wouldn't buy it from the dealer. Oh. Deary me!
No, a used dealer. Not.
Do you know what it would be? Do you know what the last little bit would be that would make me do it? I think I'd be sitting there thinking, behind the wheel of this, if I got myself an E34, I could pretend that I'm in Ronin.
Oh,
there you go.
Brilliantly in that. Yeah, not in the state. That was a saloon, but
it was. But it's a tenuous enough link for me, so I think that'll tip me over the edge there.
You'd take that. Yep. You would take that. I've just thought of something else that we should probably mention before you make your final choice.
Go on then.
This is a car I have actually driven.
Okay.
Back in the day, an Alfa 156 sport wagon.
Ah, interesting choice.
Bit off the wall, isn't it? That one, bit unusual. You very rarely see one, probably because they're all broken down.
There's that reference to the practicality there, you see.
Yeah, there you are. Well, it's an estate car, so you can claim it's practical when you're sitting by the side of the motorway in a clouded steam.
Yeah, waiting for a low loader. When he gets there, it's practical, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we look at it. It's an estate. Yeah. All this room in the back that it doesn't go anymore.
It's again good honourable mention.
Yes, I don't think either of us would have one, but I thought it was worth heading that one off.
Yes, definitely. Yep, good shout. But no,
what would I choose then if you're having the Beamer?
Yeah, I'm having an E34. I mean, you by all means, we don't have to select different if you want the same. I'm not going to hold it against you, but I'm willing to hear your thoughts.
I keep coming back to the Mondeo.
Yeah, that's what I was going to predict. That
I keep coming back to the Mondeo.
That's just in that blue.
In that blue, on original wheels, which is quite hard to find.
Yeah, we'll get you some. Don't you worry.
You find me some. That yeah,
Good. It's a good choice. It's going to be. I mean, it's just going to be rock solid, that, isn't it?
Yeah, and if on the rare occasions it wasn't, it's not going to be expensive to put right because it's a Mondeo.
Yeah, yeah. I know it's got the V6 and all that, but it's still an off the shelf Ford engine, pretty much.
Yeah,
Isn't
it
it?
is.
So,
It is. Yeah, it is.
yeah,
Yeah,
you are in. That's exactly the same sort of reasoning of the BMW. Just it's going to work.
yeah.
It's
You
not
are
going to
going to be able
ruin
to go
you.
out to that in the morning, and it is going to start and get you where you need to go. Yeah, it's not going to ruin you when it needs servicing and things like that. And if something does go wrong in it, it's not going to be hard to get, and it's not going to be expensive.
That's right.
And you
It's
could
going to be.
take that. You could take that anywhere, and they'll be able to work on it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's an uncomplicated vehicle, and yep, excellent choice. I'd be very envious and pestering you for a
Yes,
drive. I'll be
you've
honest.
said that before. You would be
Yeah,
green with envy if I bought one of those.
yeah.
Yes.
No, it's a brilliant choice. Are we locked in there then for our
I
practicals?
think we're locked in for our practical dailies there. So I've got a Mondeo and you've got an old Beamer.
Yep, that
We're not the
sounds good.
coolest kids in town, or at least we might be, but only to the people that know.
You say that? Yeah, I think we'd be very, very cool. Yeah, that's what I'm going with. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, well, let's go with that, shall we? Yeah, because the chances of either of us pulling off very cool at this point in our lives.
Yeah, you raise a very valid point of well, just not.
Just not even close. No.
Mm,
Even the right car is not going to save it for us at this stage.
that's correct. No, that's absolutely correct. Okay, so that's it. We've got our choices. We've both got estates. They're fast. They're practical.
We've
We can
both
put
gone
the
with
kids in the
fast
back.
estate car. Yeah,
Yeah.
get anything in either of those. Yeah.
Okay, so that's all right then. So we've got another two cars apiece.
Mm.
Are we going for weekend toys or track cars next?
Well, track cars is probably the area I know the least about, but I do have some initial thoughts.
Okay, that's brilliant. Let's have it.
Well, my first thought would be a mini John Cooper Works GP.
That's a good idea. It's an excellent sort of base for a track
Yeah,
car.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And it's the sort of car you can drive to the track. It's not
Yes.
something that's so track focused it can't be driven on the road. You're gonna have to trailer it everywhere. And although we have both bought cars as our practical dailies that would be capable of trailering the track car to the
This
track.
is yeah. This is very true. What vintage are we talking here?
Well, I'd probably go for an older one because I prefer the styling.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably go for I don't know when they first did the GP actually.
Yeah. See, that's the thing.
How early can I go?
Yeah, that's the
Um,
thing that I was curious about.
I'm just having a look. Let's refine me search here because we like facts on this.
Yeah, let's pin it right down. I'd say.
2006, so it would be effectively the third generation of Mini, although the first two were very similar.
Yes.
Because I had the second. I technically had the facelift, the first facelift, but it was basically the same as the original one, like you've got, but the
Mm-hmm.
bumpers were slightly different and the lights were slightly different, but it was basically the same thing. It was the
Did
one
they
that came
change the
after
model
that.
number? Because obviously the
It
one I
had a
got now
different R number, yeah.
was that yeah, because the one we've got's an R50. Was yours R53? And the one
Ye-
and now
Let
you're looking at the one you're on about for your track car, the John Cooper Works. Would that be an R56?
I think that's right. I'm just double checking.
I've just found it for you. The original John Cooper Works GP
Yeah.
2006 was right at the end of the production run of the R53s. That was the first one.
Oh, okay, right. Well, I think for nostalgia purposes, I'd probably, I mean, I don't know the differences, but I'd probably say I'd have one of those because it was the one I had back in the day.
I think it's a good shout as well because I think visually it's the most sort of unfiddled with. Those early ones,
Yeah,
the 50s and the 53s, I think were styling wise just about right. I think every facelift has got slightly further
slightly
away.
worse.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree entirely.
Yeah.
Yes, they've got less mini-like as they've gone along. Yeah.
Mm.
Those first two, I think you could look at that and still say, yes, that's a mini. That's been eroded by
Mm.
each release since then. Yeah. So yeah, I think I would go the first generation of one of those. There were loads of tuning kits available for those as well.
Oh, you are spoilt. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Absolutely brilliant.
so much you could do from just a slight tweak to, absolutely insane.
Mm. Yeah, you could have silly horsepower in that.
Yes, you
You
could.
think that's crazy. You're firing that through your front wheels and then
It's a
then then
front wheel drive car. Yeah.
firing it directly out of your rear end. Then,
Yes, you are.
but
There were a number of kits that took it up to pushing 300 brake horsepower.
that's it.
Um,
I mean, if you chuck some of that on it, empty it out inside, pop a
yes,
cage in,
yeah,
some
you'd be
decent
away.
seats, some nice tyres on that, and good God.
Yeah, you could have some incredible fun with that because they were
Mm,
such a stable little thing. You've really got to push that to find the limit.
yeah.
I have seen one where the driver found the limit. It was because I actually did. I went to a track day in mine. It would be stretching things to say I did a track day in mine. I went to a track day that was a mini specific day at Castle Combe. And although we did get to drive around, I didn't race mine round. They did a thing at the end of the day where everybody
Mm.
could drive around. They could do one lap,
Okay.
but it was hardly at speed. It was, just to say, well, I've been round Castle Combe.
No, that's
Um,
that's probably for the best. Castle Coombe's got a bit of a reputation for
It's
track
a
days.
real car breaker, Castle Combe. There was a John Cooper Works. I don't think it was a GP, but it was a genuine John Cooper Works car during that day that spun off the track and went into one of the crash barriers backwards at 60 miles an hour.
Yes, that's never good
Yeah,
because the barriers are half close there.
yeah, it's not a big track.
No.
It's very tight. Yeah, it all went a bit wrong, and yeah. Later in the day, we did see that car being pushed out onto the road.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm saying
Well,
nothing, but that will be to dodge certain insurance
you
issues.
think?
Yeah. I
Hmm.
mean,
Yeah.
call me a
No.
cynic.
No
Yeah.
track insurance on that, I imagine. No, indeed. That deceptively dangerous bit of flat, straight, really well
Oh, yeah.
signposted road just outside the track.
I know. At least move it further away. Get someone with a trailer, for Christ's sake.
Yes.
It must.
Oh
Then
dear.
insurance companies must have a map and a proximity, and just go, not a chance.
They must be able to tell the difference
Yeah.
between a road traffic accident and you've trashed that on a track. Yes. There
Yes.
must be some telltale signs.
You'd have thought so, wouldn't you? But brilliant,
However,
brilliant choice.
that would be my choice. I mean, I was thinking maybe something like a little Lotus Elise or something like that, but then I thought, no, I'm not really very interested in that. I think I'd go for a Mini.
That's perfect for you. You've got such a soft spot for those.
I do. I really do. Yeah, I
And I
wouldn't rule
think
out having another one at some point as a bit of fun.
that will reward you. That will. That's
Yes, I think that would be enormous fun.
mm.
And again, would not break the bank to look after.
No, I don't think so. I think it's a real solid choice, and
Mm.
yes, I commend
You wouldn't
you for
even
that.
necessarily need to go for a GP, to be honest. You could probably just go for a John Cooper Works if you're not, intending to get, into competitions and things with it. It depends. Track day these days has become such a big business. It depends what sort of track days you're going to do with it.
Well, this is true. I mean, I mean, we've got to the point now with KTM crossbows and VAC monos and
aerial atoms and real focus. That is a track car and nothing else. I wouldn't go for that. I have less interest in piloting some scaffolding around the track.
Yes, that's it.
With no windscreen.
Be nice to come out of it with a spine.
Yes, exactly. Something that you'd at least have the option of driving it on the road. And I know a lot of the cars you just mentioned are technically road legal, but
yeah, who would?
Something with a roof and some windows might be nice.
Steady.
Can I have doors with it, please?
No, you may not.
No, with any of those, no, you may not.
No. But really, really good choice. I should have predicted that, really, but I didn't. I thought, no, that's brilliant. Very good.
Where are you at with that? Where are you? Because obviously I'm going to be seeing you in my rearview mirror, so I need to.
No. I wonder what I might pick.
Well, no, you see, because if you pick it, and we'll just call it for a second.
Okay.
If you pick it for your track day car, you can't have it for your weekend toy.
This is true. This is very true.
Although I don't actually think you specified that.
No, that wasn't
the same car for all three. In which case, I'll have a Model 3 Performance for all three.
No, I promise you, I won't pick the same car for toy and track. How's that?
Okay, so if you choose it for track, you can't have it for toy.
That's right.
So you need to choose carefully there.
I am going to choose very carefully. And for my track car, I'm gonna be a bit reckless with spending.
Well, we didn't set a budget, so
we didn't. And I've pinpointed this. It's going to be a Porsche. It's going to be a 964 Carrera RS in ruby stone red.
Yeah, that's very specific.
Okay. That is.
But picking a 964 is a good choice.
I think this is probably
very popular. Very popular for track days. Yeah.
And this that's just perfection. I think it's styled superbly. The color is ridiculous, and the way it's set up, lightweight, non-turbo, just simple, effective. It's the 3.6 normal flat six. It's got the Carrera 2 profile on it. It's just perfect.
I'm struggling to fault that.
The only fault with it is the price.
Yes, that is a downside. Yes,
they are around the $250,000 mark.
I mean, there are other 964s that are not that much.
There are, but I want that one.
Okay. Well, you better get saving then.
Yeah. So, whereas with our estate cars and such like, there was lots of deliberation. As soon as this topic was proposed, I'm having that.
Well, clearly, I knew there would be a Porsche in one of the three slots in your garage.
That's right. I mean, I'm not saying there won't be in the remaining slot, but it won't be that one. How's that?
Oh, I see. Okay, we're gonna go that way. Yes, that's not a surprise, and I don't think you would find many arguments. I mean, when you spin off, when you run out of talent, that's going to be a lot more expensive to repair.
Yeah.
But
don't do that. What we're going to do is not, like that. Just not do it.
We're just not going to do that. Yes. So you're just going to say it's a track day car. It'll never actually go to a track.
Oh no, I don't know about that, but it just won't go around it very fast. I think that's probably the...
Everybody be queued up behind you, beeping.
Yeah.
Go round.
Oh, but yeah, there you go.
They do call you Granddad, don't they?
They do. This it will happen.
It will. Oh dear. Yeah, that's well, I mean, it's classic, isn't it? It's classic.
Yeah. Beautiful lines, just absolutely brilliant.
The 964 in any of its guys is a gorgeous looking thing. There's no question about that. It's the quintessential 911 shape, isn't it? Which is why Singer are using them, of course.
Yeah, I mean, which is absolutely brilliant. The stuff they produce is wonderful, but please leave some 964s for the rest of us.
I know
please.
you don't want them to be too successful, do you? Otherwise, they're going to have them all.
That's the problem. No one wanted them. Now everyone wants them.
Yes.
Like,
prices have gone bonkers. Yeah.
And just for so long, I loved it because I remember I had a model of a Targa when I was that would have been about 89, roughly. I think when the 964 came out, and I was heading. Oh, what was I? I must have been double digits by that point, or heading towards double digits as a kid.
Yeah.
And I had a model of that in silver, and that was it. Sold. And and in the face of everyone dissing it, styling wise, I all stood by it, and now everyone has jumped on the bandwagon. You bunch of bastards.
Yes. Now they've gone.
Yeah, still can't have one.
No, they're getting less likely as every month goes by.
That is correct. So, we have been terribly efficient there.
We've both been very focused, actually, on the track one. We've both gone right to what we want, and a couple of solid choices there. Yeah,
I think so. So that moves us neatly on to the remaining slot in the garage, the weekend toy.
I suspect there's going to be more deliberation over this one than either of the other two.
That's entirely possible, actually. But I think in my head, I've already shortlisted it. Actually, while we've been talking,
I thought you might have.
So there are a few contenders, and the first one on the list would be a Mercedes-Benz SL500 of the R129 variant.
Oh, yeah, that's very good. A 500 or 600?
I'd like 500, please, because it's the model I had as a kid.
Well, you see, that's
there's a lot going for that.
Yeah, there is. It's important.
It is.
Yeah,
I had a silver model.
That does fuel a lot of our desire for things. What did you have as a kid?
You got to think from that, coming in at that angle. That's going to be a cruise of a weekend. That's not a thrash.
It's not a thrash, but you're going to satisfy the thrash with the track car. So it doesn't necessarily have to be.
It doesn't. I'm just coming at it from this angle, just because I just think that's a strong contender. I'm not saying it's a definite, but I've got something.
Yeah,
certainly a little.
I get that entirely. There'd be a lot of wafting with that.
It would. Silky smooth. That would not. That's not a shouty V8. That's a smooth V8.
Oh, it is. Yeah, no, it's not a no. You're not making a lot of noise about that. You are gliding around in that. You're not drawing attention to yourself in that.
No.
And again, it's one of those cars that the people who know will know what it is, but most people think that's an old Merc.
Yeah.
You wouldn't give you a second glance.
No, not at all. I've got an Italian option as well.
Ooh, that's always good.
This one I think will divide opinions, maybe even yours. But it would be the Alfa Romeo 4C.
Oh, that is interesting.
Proper lightweight little thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because 4-cylinder, but carbon tub. Just really quite different. And I suppose the sensible choice would be to go for the Alpine, the new one, the A10, but A110. Yes. Sorry. But I think this one's a bit more toy orientated, I'd say.
Yes, I think it probably is, and it's probably one of the better built Alphas.
Probably.
You're not going to be down the garage as much in that as one of the older ones.
And you're gonna think you're cool. Until you get out of it, then you get mocked, obviously. But as soon as you climb into it, pop the Ray-Bans on, off you go. Lovely.
Yes, and you are Italian from that point on. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's it. Arrive at your destination, have all the espressos, smoke many cigarettes, and on your way again.
After straightening your tie, and because clearly you need to dress up to drive that.
Well, I would dress up, but I probably wouldn't go tie. I'd just have the shirt open enormously.
No Englishman must ever do that.
Gonna need some fake tan on the go there.
With our pasty skin.
There's gonna need sunglasses to subdue the reflection of the pastiness.
It is. That's not going to work for you, mate. I'm sorry.
Oh God.
Don't ever get out of it and have the windows tinted. Just, I know that's illegal, but just take the tickets.
Yeah, it's fine.
Pay the fine. Yes.
That's it, because that air of enigma will always be there. As
Nobody
soon as
must ever see it's you. No.
Go, oh, look, it's a little idiot.
Yes, look at that. No, you must never do that.
So.
Oh, dear. Interesting. Well, yes, a couple of things have sprung to mind.
Do tell.
The first thing that came to mind as a weekend toy was a Lotus Esprit.
Oh, it's a lovely one. What era are we talking here?
We're not talking S1, because again, if you can find one, prices have gone ridiculous. That's the for those not familiar, the S1 is the original Esprit, as used in The Spy Who Loved Me.
That's right.
That was an S1. Now the S2s are considerably cheaper and more plentiful. They're basically the same shape, slightly different rear end, slightly different lights, slightly improved interior. Those are a bit more sensible. But to be honest, I'd probably go for much later than that. I'd probably look at probably looking at a 90s V8, something like that.
I mean, I'd side with you on that, because they really did well with the styling on that.
I think they did. I think the later ones, I think, unlike a lot of cars, the Esprit actually got better looking as it got older.
Yeah. I tell you what, it's a theme tonight, isn't it? Models. I had one as a kid. There was God, it was. I think it was a Shell promotion.
Okay. Yes. You need visiting their establishments quite a lot. Yes.
And my dad used to exchange his points for the model cars behind the counter, and that was the first one of that set, actually, that he arrived home with.
Yeah.
Remember a little silver model of that again? Yeah, that's a bit of me, that is.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I would say, mid-90s onwards, maybe even one of the 2002, 2003, one of the later ones, because I think by that point they'd really sorted it.
Yeah, really nice. And a V8 in those things, just brilliant. Excellent choice.
Absolutely. I think, I thought about an Aston DB7, but don't know. It's a bit. I'd find all the same switchgear that I've got in my Mondeo, wouldn't I? That's the problem.
It was a bit obvious in that. And I suppose you could go DB9.
You could go DB9, which is a very different animal. DB9 would be another good choice.
I could spot my Volvo bits in that.
You could spot well, certainly the keys and the sat nav were right out of the Volvo. Absolutely, and no doubt various other bits. Because again, Volvo was part of Ford, wasn't it, at that time?
So it was indeed.
They were all sharing everything. And Aston would be. I mean, it's an Aston, but I think at this stage, I'd probably go for something. Yeah, the Lotus, a little bit more unusual, a little bit more, a bit more of a thinker's choice, perhaps.
Yeah, you got a bit of exclusivity on your side there.
Yes, I think so. You never see one.
No.
Ever.
No. Not at all.
So I think an Esprit
Okay.
for the toy. Again, could be used as the track car, but I don't think it'd be as much fun as the Mini.
I don't think it would be, and while I think you could chuck it a bit, I don't know. I don't think I could bring myself to thrash it.
No, I don't think I could, because I think it would go twang, and it's going to cost several of your bodily organs to mend it. So I think you'd want to be a bit more careful with it than that. And of
Yes,
course, the Mini is not rare. The Esprit is.
that's
And
right.
they only made them in quite small numbers in the first place. So
Mm,
I don't think you'd want to take risks with that. Whereas the
okay.
Mini, you could chuck it about all day, and it's they're
Yeah,
everywhere, aren't they? You're not gonna
you're not going to be upset about a scuff.
no.
Well,
Whereas with the Lotus, I think you would be. So
mm, um, I suppose the biggest shock here is the distinct lack of Jaguar.
there is a distinct lack of. Well, I did mention the XFRS Sport Brake as a possible for the practical car.
You did.
Um,
I'm just sort of surprised at this point for a toy we're not thinking XK or something like that.
Considered that, you've kind of got the DB7 thing going on. I did consider an F-Type.
Mm.
That would be very tempting. But yeah, there isn't a Jag in the lineup. I'm quite surprised by that. Now you've mentioned it as well.
While we're in the toy section, then what about XJS?
Yeah, the Force is quite strong with those.
Thinking perhaps convertible, roof down,
Yeah.
bit of sunshine of a weekend, should it ever arrive.
Yeah. Well, we live in England, so we only get a couple of weeks a year when that happens. Yeah, I possibly. I think as I said, I probably have more trouble with the toy category than either of the other two. And I think my opinion on what I'd want would change from time to time.
Okay.
There's another time, another couple of weeks' time, you would ask me again. I might well say, well, yeah, obviously it would be an XJS or an XKR or even something, or even the much mentioned S Type R as the
Yeah.
fun toy.
But interestingly, I suppose though you I'm assuming you're leaning towards the Esprit V8 as your final answer. It seems to straddle a few of these sort of categories actually.
Yeah.
So it's got I think it's got a bit of leisurely driving should you need it, but it's got a bit of oomph should you want to push on a bit as well.
Which the XJS doesn't.
No, that's all waft.
These all waft, and it does waft extremely well, especially if you've got a V12. But it's all what I guess. My thinking really with all three of them, because we can only have three. Yeah, kind of like you say, they could all three could do. Well, maybe not the Mini couldn't be the practical choice, but it's not impractical.
No.
To a point. It is if you've got three kids, but I mean, frankly, that's your own lookout. If all three could fit in each, they all have elements of each other's categories, if that makes sense. I think that's what I'm trying to say. You got a fast performance estate car that you could do. I mean, people do. You could do a track day in a Mondeo ST220.
Yeah, of course you could. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a good point. And I think that's what we've kind of both gone for, really, is that they all have a bit of everything.
They do. Although I have to say, I've not given you my final answer yet for toy.
Oh no, I suppose not. No.
So before we move on, are you saying that your final decision is the Lotus Esprit V8?
Oh, it's a tough one, especially now you've brought up Jaguar. I feel bad for not having a Jaguar in the lineup. Yeah, I am. I'm going to say the Esprit as my final answer for the weekend toy.
I genuinely think it's a good choice because it does more than any of the other contenders.
Yeah, I think that's why.
It has different
that's
personas
exactly why.
in one
Yeah,
package.
It does. An XJS wouldn't. And to be honest, an XKR or an XKRS, if you can find one, it's kind of always on it.
That's it. It's a bit too leery, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, Lotus is my final choice. Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Excellent choice. Very good.
Where are you headed then?
Right. Well, so far on the table, we've got the SL500 and the 4C.
Both very, very strong choices. I would be with you with the Merc. Yeah, I'd be wanting a lend of that.
That's fine.
In fact, we'd all be wanting a lend of all three.
Yeah, these would do the rounds, wouldn't
they? Yeah, they would. All three. Yes.
Unfortunately, it's not going to be either of those.
Okay.
We're going to visit Porsche again.
Oh, Porsche.
Yeah. And for the weekend,
an unusual choice for you.
Yeah, that's a bit different, isn't it?
Well, I've been unexpected, so I suppose you don't have to be.
No, I suppose so. So, for a toy, I am going to go for the Boxster 987 Spider.
Ooh. Now, okay.
So it's not your run of the mill one. It's the one that's you've got less on it, but it costs more.
Yeah, Porsche are quite good at that.
They are, but that first guise of the Boxster Spider, that 987 in white with the black decals down the side. In the what did they have? They had the 3.4. Yeah, 3.4 in those. Manual. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
The roof's a bit crap though, isn't it?
I don't give a toss about the roof. It's a toy.
The roof would be down all the time anyway, so.
Yeah, it's one of those things. The roof would not be attached. It'd be parked in a garage.
Yes, I'd throw the roof away because it's ridiculous. It looks like you pitched a tent over it.
But without the roof, that side profile of those, that sort of rear haunch in the classic sort of a bit akin to the speedsters in the 911. That sloping.
Yes,
rear,
I can see that. Yes, I can see that. Yeah.
It's a bit of me, that.
I understand that less. Should we put it like that?
Okay.
But I can see as a toy. Again, it could be used as the track car.
It could be used as a track car, I suppose. I mean, it is quite a lightweight variant. It's got the hallmarks, but it's not.
You don't necessarily want a convertible as a track car, though, because your hair's going to come out.
That's right, and that's. I mean, you'll notice that the ones I was considering, the SL500, 4C, all available without roof.
True, you have gone all convertible on us.
You think that's part of the passion of it and the thrill of it being a toy. You want to go out at the weekend, pop the lid off, away you go.
No, I'm not interested in that. No, no, I haven't got the hair for it.
Oh, I see. I've still got some, so it's fine. I'm making the most of it. That wasn't a dig at you. That's just before mine pisses off.
Before it clears off, inevitably. Yes.
Yeah. No. That's no personal attacks. That was just well, I've got it. Good. Flaunt it.
Because I've still got most of it. It's a strong choice. It's a strong choice. I'm not surprised that you've got two Porsches in your garage. Yeah, you've got a very German selection there, haven't you? Very austere.
I do. It's quite interesting the fact that if I were only allowed one, it would be a very different choice of vehicle. It would still be a Porsche, but it would be a very, very much a specifically picked 911. Yes. But this way, I've got the wonderful option of hedging my bets a bit.
You can choose two very different offerings there for sure. Yeah. I quite like what you've done with that. Yeah, begrudgingly.
Right, I'll let you have a lend. Don't worry.
Oh, that's a given. Yeah. Like you say, what you've chosen there for going for the Boxster rather than another 911. I wondered if you go for a Cayman, actually.
It was very strong contender, but I really, for that toy, I wanted the roof off.
Yes, that's
That's quite important for me. Along in the same vein of going, well, the Daily must be in a state because
yes,
I must carry things, and I will never ever buy an SUV.
SUV, yes, quite right too. Yes.
But if the budget is limitless or restricted, it will never be one.
No, they're not better at anything.
No, they are not.
No, they're really not, and I don't understand why they got so blinking popular. That's interesting. I didn't think you'd go for a Boxster. No, I thought you'd think they weren't. They're a bit of a weak option. I would have thought you'd say, "No, a bit wishy-washy. I'd go for something else." But
no, I think they're a discerning choice.
Yeah, well, obviously you do. You've chosen one.
Well,
I think
I think they're dismissed far too much.
Yeah, I think they probably are. To be fair, yeah, they probably are. The Boxster does get dismissed as the kind of the lesser Porsche, doesn't it?
Mm. It does, and I have driven one, and it was absolutely lovely driving experience.
Yes,
really good.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I tell you what, the thing that really thrilled me, I must have mentioned it before, is when you're in it, we got those intakes just behind you.
Yeah.
So throughout the entire process where you're giving it proper revs, you get induction sound. You get the sound of that engine working, and it's so nice. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And the balance of it, a mid-engined flat six, is probably a good shout. I know we've got the 911 and it's way out the back there, and we've been engineering our way out of it for years.
Yes, yes. Trying to get around that enormous problem. Yes.
But I think, for the toy, it has to be that.
Well, for the toy, you can have what you like, can't you? Because you're it is a toy. You're not trying to satisfy any other criteria other than it's a toy, because you've dealt with that in the other categories. Like you say, the practical car has to be a big estate car because you want to shift stuff around. The track car has to be a lot more performance focused and not about wafting around on real roads. Whereas with your toy, it just has to be what you fancy.
Well, that's correct. And I tell you what, if this got even close to reality, you have to say there's an estate on the driveway already.
There
is. Once we've finished ploughing money into tarting up the house,
yes.
A Boxster's probably next on the list.
Really? Not to replace the estate car?
No. I just think it's an attainable vehicle easily, and it butters the parsnips for me.
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
So there you go.
Oh, you're gonna have parsnips all over the place with that. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to watch out for that.
Yeah, you do. It's a serious issue. I believe they warn you about that when you buy one.
Yes, slippery when buttery.
Yes, exactly. Aren't we all? That's I would. Well, what a collection we've come up with there.
Well, I think that's an envious collection there.
That's not a bad selection, is it? I don't think either of us has actually chosen. Have made obvious choices there.
Perhaps not. And I think if I look at your selection, I would be more than happy with that.
Yeah. Well, obviously. I mean, I'm just fantastic.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's the modesty that gets me. It's just brilliant.
It's always there. Yeah. I don't say it. No other bugger's going to. I would not be disappointed if somebody gave me your selections. Put it like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't get the Porsches in the same way that you do.
Well, maybe if you drove them.
Well, maybe so. Yeah.
Maybe if we give you that selection, that would sort you right out.
It probably would. I'd certainly have no problem with the Beamer.
No,
that's yeah, I'm kind of surprised you've gone all German as well.
Yeah, well, it was going to happen, really, wasn't it?
I suppose. Yeah. Interesting. That's a very interesting exercise. We should perhaps revisit this and do another, maybe in a little while. Maybe have a look at that again. See if we've revised any of our choices.
Okay, yeah, then maybe that's a good shout. Come back to it with the list of 3 that we've both got and go, well, now thinking about it. Now, because we've done this off the cuff, perhaps revisit in a month or so, come back and say,
yeah,
perhaps having applied any additional thoughts to it, would you sell 1 or 2 and replace them?
Yeah, I think we should. I think that would be an interesting exercise to see if over time, when we've had a bit of a think about it, whether we would revise our choices.
Yeah, that's a good
normally we prepare these lists, but in this case we genuinely haven't.
No, that's it. This is an off the cuff, so yeah, that would be interesting to see if it would be different.
Yes, I think so.
Yes, let's do that. Let's come back to it. An excellent choice.
We'll speak again on this subject. Well, I think that's probably enough of that for this week. Check us out on all the various social medias and things. Thank you very much for listening.